Okay, so today we're doing section 1.1, finding and describing patterns. I anticipate this to be a pretty easy introductory lesson. Finding patterns is something that your math teachers have probably asked you to do from a very young age. Okay. All right, so let's do these warm-ups first, just to warm up our minds a little bit. I would recommend writing down the original problem and then solving it. On that top section, we're just doing more or less order of operations, simplifying, evaluating. What did we get for 12 plus negative 28? Negative what? Negative 16? That. There we go. All right. Good. Negative 16. All right. On number 2, we've got 13 minus negative 5. Remember, subtracting a negative is like adding a positive. Good job. What did we get? 18. All right. Number 3, 4 squared plus 2 squared.
20.
How did we come up with 20?
16.
Good. 16 plus 4. So all of those answers are good. So our first step would be to evaluate exponents, and then we can move down our list of order of operations and add those together to get 20. On number 4, what are some things we got on number 4? Okay, so did anybody get something other than 30? Good. So if you got 30, you remembered your order of operations. Okay, we've got to do all the multiplication first. Sometimes students let that go out of their mind and they just do 2 times 4 plus 2 times 5. They go down the line, right? So we should have gotten 30 there. All right, these next ones. 2 times a number minus 4. Okay, so we have to give that number a name, like n or x, whatever you want your variable to be. So 2n minus 4 works. If you used a different variable, that's fine. 9 more than 8 times a number. Okay, so one option would be to write 9 plus 8x or 8n. If you wrote it the other way around, 8x plus 9, that's the same thing, that's fine. Good. All right, so what is the pattern? What pattern describes this?
Yeah, like there's 3 and then 4 sides.
So what are we doing every time?
And 1.
Adding one side every time. All right, so what's the pattern? What's happening each time? We're adding 3. Or add 3. Or you could say multiples of 3. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3. Either one works. What's the next number going to be? 21. Okay, so we recognize that these are the perfect square numbers. Numbers, not hashtags. What would the next perfect square number be? 49. 7 times 7 is 49. All right, on number 4, what pattern do we notice? We're adding a line. Let's be a little more specific. Julian? Adds a third each time. Like we add a section each time? Yeah, that's getting closer. So my wording, which you can use your own wording, what I would say is that the number of equal parts increases by 1 each time. What would we say to describe the pattern in number 5? Brandon? Moves to the left or moves, would we call that clockwise or counterclockwise? Counterclockwise, good. So you could say the black triangle or the shaded triangle. Bless you. Rotates counterclockwise 1 space. Something to that effect. What's the pattern on number 6? Jordan? Good, so either way, multiples of 4 or add 4 each time. We don't have to find the next number on those, so I'll skip that step. What about 7? Yes, ma'am? Subtracting 5 each time. Subtract 5. Oh, sorry. Can we all see that's 5 down there? I know the icon gets in the way. Okay, what should my figure look like? A shaded arrow pointing right? Okay, inside of what kind of shape? A diamond? Alright, let's bring it back. Okay, so a shaded arrow. It's a little hard for me to do it on these pointing right. We'll record that. So the next number we think should be 321. We had other ideas? What about the one after that? 6. Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that. So let's talk about it. How did we come up with 321? We had to identify some pattern to be able to come up with another number. We add 5 every time? No.
5 plus 10.
So we add 5, we added 10, then what?
15, 20.
Oh, hold on. We never added anything with a 5.
Oh. I just stopped going.
Okay, so between 41 and 81, we'd add 40. Between 81 and 161, we would add 80. So how much did we add here? We added 160. So add 5, then double what you add. It's going to be the easier way. I'm running out of room. You add. Okay, so if that's the case, what should we add this next time? We should add 320. Oops. Plus 320. So that would give us 641. All right, so we notice that we are subtracting 14 each time. So what would be the next number? 241, and then after that? 227. This is what's going on. If you add 2 entries, dang, I keep doing that. That's not your homework. If we add those 2 together, we get that entry. Right? That happens all over the place. If we add those 2 together, we get that entry. We add these 2 together. So it happens out on the outsides too. Okay, so that is the relationship between the entries. Well, so you can fill in like with zeros, right? We could put a 0 here, and like 0 plus 1 is 1, right?